Hello everybody, welcome back. I know it's been a minute since I've done one of these little doohickeys, but I figured since it's the beginning of the year, I would talk about the top 10 movies I watched last year, as I did this the year before, so maybe it can be a fun little tradition. And I'm going to be using Letterboxd again. It's a cool little app. It's what I log all my movies on, and it's pretty nifty. So I'm going to start off the year with some honorable mentions. I watched Joel Haver's film, It Just Takes Time. Again, I haven't really prepared anything to say. This is just kind of off the cusp. So hopefully I'm like in frame and everything. Can't really see the screen. I'm kind of far away. But watch Joel Haver's It Just Takes Time. And it's probably my favorite film that he's done. I really like some of his others as well. Out of all the ones he made, the 12 movies he made in 1 year, I like that and Anyone Else But Me. It's kind of a good template for pouring in your own grief. It's vague enough to where you can kind of fill in the blanks of what has happened in your life that might cause you to react similarly. And it's just a very solid film, one of his best, I think. Just very sad and brief and complex. I like how complex his characters are. I like how often things lead to nowhere, but that's kind of the point, is just the journey. Yeah, it was a good film. Fat City by John Huston is another honorable mention. Just a really good movie. I'd like to kind of do a video on just that movie alone. It just barely is number 11 in my list, so it just barely didn't make the list, but just a great film about being in a rut, and kind of the way I look at it, it's the movie for losers. It's the movie for the loser who won't let himself win. A very self-destructive kind of thing, which is very similar to another movie we're going to be talking about. I watched Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair in theaters. That was like a 4-hour movie. Really good. Great technical craft. Just barely missed the list. So, but enjoyed it. Watched Superman. I like Superman. That was a fun time. Didn't see a ton of movies that came out last year in 2025. Alto Nights, and it was not very good. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was probably the worst movie I watched last year. Alright, we're going to start off with number 10. This is the 1998 film directed by Sam Raimi. It is A Simple Plan. I'll put it right there, because I got all this dead space in the frame. Whoa, there it is. Wow. A Simple Plan, directed by Sam Raimi. Just a really good, grounded film from him. You know, you think of Sam Raimi movies, you think of Spider-Man, but then outside of that, you think of crazy camera moves and very elaborate. He likes to move the camera around a lot, and A Simple Plan is very contained, very controlled. It feels like Fargo. I haven't seen Fargo, but I think Billy Bob Thornton gives a great performance. I think Bill Paxton gives a good performance. If you haven't seen it, which probably is a lot of you, because it's a very underrated film, but I'd check it out. A great what would you do kind of movie, and a lot of cool things and a lot of dumb decisions made by dumb people. At number 9, we got the 2019 film directed by Martin Scorsese, The Irishman. I just watched this movie last night, actually, so I've seen it now like 3 times, which is pretty crazy, because it's like a 3.5-hour movie, and I didn't think I'd watch it that often, but it just really stuck with me. It's a great film, great casting. Al Pacino's really good in it. Joe Pesci, just got to give a little side tangent here. Joe Pesci has become just one of my favorite actors this year. He's just so good. He just is so believable in everything he's in. He just owns it. He's completely sold out 100% of the time. He gives it his all. He believes it. You can tell he believes what he's saying. And The Irishman is a good example of him playing a very different role, a very un-Joe Pesci kind of role. He's quiet, collected. You know, it's a 3.5-hour movie. I think the first hour, maybe even the first 2 hours, is like good classic mob movie, what you'd expect. Some of the de-aging, it's not terrible. There's just that one scene with Robert De Niro stomping on a guy's hand, and it's pretty hard to watch. I think that's the worst part of the movie. And then you get to, I won't spoil anything here so y'all can watch it, but you get around to near the end and the last hour and a half maybe, and it is just so bleak and depressing, just very existential about just growing old and and being afraid of dying, and just a really good amount of existential dread thrown in there. And I think that last hour and a half or however long it is some of Scorsese's best work from what I've seen. Not his best movie, but it's just so solid, and it's just so sad just seeing all these people, and you do all this stuff in your life and what they were doing was wrong, and it's just like, for what? You just kind of feels pointless in the movie. And Robert De Niro gives a great, like, sociopathic performance almost. He's a very emotionless guy, and it's very sad in a way, but it's a great movie. I recommend it. Number 8, we got the 2007 film directed by David Fincher, Zodiac. Whoa, there he is. We found him. He's right there. I'd say it's like a flawless movie. It's just so well made, interesting, fun to watch, scary, depressing. Like, it just hits a bunch of beats, and the performances are great. Jake Gyllenhaal, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., John Carroll Lynch. They're all really good performances, and it's just a masterpiece of craft. It's just well crafted. It's scary, and I think, you hear the Zodiac is known for not being caught, so you're like, oh, how are they going to tackle this? And they do it in a satisfying way, where, without spoiling anything, it's satisfying. It doesn't leave you upset. I mean, obviously it does, because he was never caught or punished for his terrible deeds. But as far as a movie, it's well done, well crafted, just a good time. I forgot that movie's pretty long too. It's almost 3 hours, I think, and you feel it, like The Irishman. You feel it, but it's not bad. It's a good movie. I recommend. Number 7 and number 6, I'm feeling kind of. You could switch them around. They're both fantastic movies, but for right now, what I have on the list is number 7 is the 1977 film directed by William Friedkin, Sorcerer. And at number 6, I have the 1975 film directed by Steven Spielberg, Jaws. They both got Roy Schneider, and they both came out in the 70s, and they're both masterpieces. But I'll talk about Sorcerer first. Sorcerer is probably the sweatiest movie I've ever seen, and literally, it's so uncomfortable looking. Everyone's just sweating and looks sick, and it is just such a miserable looking time. And I think, from what I've heard, is that's kind of how it was filming the movie. But in turn, you get just a incredible film, a thrilling movie, on your toes the whole time, and just great performances. Roy Schneider has also become one of my favorite actors this year, who's kind of underappreciated, I think he plays a really good grounded character. He's not flashy, he's just kind of himself, and he's believable. And then also that kind of ties in with Jaws. I think I like Jaws a little more. I think Sorcerer might be a better movie. I don't know. I'm pretty mixed about it. I like them both equally. I think Jaws just edges out a little bit, just a little more polish on it. But Jaws is great because I love movies about like small towns, or like this is the island, so it's a small community. I like movies that are kind of isolated, so they're out on the boat, and I like movies out on the water. And this was one of the first big motion pictures, if not like the first Hollywood film to be shot actually on the ocean and not in like a studio. I don't know. I didn't do research, obviously, but and there's just, I think some of the characters are more memorable in Jaws, like Quint and Hooper and stuff. And it's just a great like a trio piece and everything. And Quint's monologue is so good. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen Jaws. I did get to see it in theaters. It came back to theaters for its 50th anniversary, and I'm glad that's the first time I watched it was in a big theater. Not many people in there, but I had a good time. And number 5, we got the Denis film from 2013, Prisoners. Not a new pick, obviously. Everyone knows Prisoners, but it is that good. It is really that good. It's just like, again, a lot of it's craft, but like Roger Deakins' work on it is really good. The performances are great. The direction's good. It's a very scary, grounded kind of horror. And, Paul Dano. Everybody loves Paul Dano. Everybody. Oh man. Number 4, we have the 1980 film directed by David Lynch, is The Elephant Man. I watched 2 David Lynch movies this year. I watched this and I watched Eraserhead, which didn't make my list, but I liked Eraserhead a lot. It's very weird, but Elephant Man just destroyed me. It's a very emotional movie, based on a true story, and it's just, there's so much empathy that just radiates and just flows from this movie. Just the kindness of John Merrick, I believe is his name in the movie. Yeah. And his kindness and his goodness, and you just see what happens to him, and it's sad, and I don't know. It's just really good, and it doesn't feel like a Lynch film in a lot of the ways that people associate David Lynch with, in terms of weird, experimental, dreamlike stuff. There's like one dreamlike or 2 dreamlike scenes in this movie, but it's very like linear. You can follow the plot. It's not like otherworldly or Lynchian, as the term has been coined. But for a little bit, this was my favorite movie of the year. Just a few more edged out, but if you haven't seen it, please go watch Elephant Man, and you're gonna cry. Number 3 had the 1992 film directed by Clint Eastwood, Unforgiven. And Unforgiven is a fantastic Western, maybe the best Western I've seen. I watched a lot of Westerns this year. Unforgiven might be the best written Western. There's just, the music is so good. Clint Eastwood's performance and direction is so good. Gene Hackman, the great Gene Hackman, who passed away last year, he's really good in it. Morgan Freeman's good. Just everything is good. It's just a good time, a good plot, and a very, kind of a downer. But I tend to watch downer movies, if you couldn't tell. So I don't want to say too much, because I really think you should go into this movie blind. Just know, maybe you should watch a few Westerns before Unforgiven. It's very, there's a lot of juxtaposition of what a traditional Western is. It kind of flips it on its head. So maybe you should watch some Westerns first to get a feel. But I recommend it. Number 2 and number 1. And like last year, I think they're pretty interchangeable. I do think I lean towards number 1 being number 1 a little more this year. But number 2, I have the 1980 film directed by Martin Scorsese, Raging Bull. And this movie is a lot. This movie is so subjective in how it feels with the characters, but also objective. It feels standoffish, but it also feels close and intimate. But it feels cold and observant. There's nothing quite like it. Robert De Niro gives probably his best performance in his career. Just so much, and it's just it's a perfect cautionary tale. And those are movies that tend to stick with me a lot. Performances are great. Joe Pesci again. Joe Pesci. That's the guy. He's brilliant. And Scorsese, obviously the master. One of my favorite directors, which is, I know, kind of a basic pick, but he's just so good. It's just hard to criticize it. Number 1, the 1966 film directed by Sergio Leone, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Talk about a basic pick for your number 1 movie. A lot of these movies are kind of underrated, or they're not talked about as much. And then my number 1 is one of the most popular movies ever made. But it is really that good. It is just incredible. There's nothing... there's stuff like it after the fact, because everyone tried to copy it, but it just stands out on its own. It's timeless. It has not aged at all. Some of the lip syncing is pretty bad, but it's an Italian-made movie, and everyone was speaking their own language on set, and they dubbed it later. So what do you expect? And it doesn't matter, because the movie's so good. You get over it. You need to get over it. But performances, Eli Wallach probably gives the best performance I've ever seen in a film ever, as Tuco, and that's just what I aspired. Every performance I do from here on out, I'm just like, I gotta be more like Eli Wallach. He's just incredible, and he plays one of the most tragic, funny, stupid characters in a film I've ever seen, and he really steals the show, because Clint Eastwood is a very stoic character, like he is in the Dollars trilogy. I watched all the Dollars trilogy this year, and the other ones I like them. I think if I had to rank those, third would be for Fistful of Dollars, second would be For a Few Dollars More, and third would be The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Clint Eastwood's character is fairly similar to how he is in the other movies. And Lee Van Cleef's character is just very scary and evil. Kind of one note, not in a bad way. Like, he's just evil to be evil, It's cool. And Tuco is just, Eli Wallach is just, he's complex a little bit. He's stupid, and he's evil. But you see a little bit of his backstory. You see his brother, and he's kind of sad. You can't help kind of feel bad for the guy. And obviously you can't talk about this movie without talking about the music by the great late Ennio Morricone. And it really is that good. Everything about it. Everyone who's told you it's a good movie is underselling it. Like, you gotta go watch it if you haven't seen it. It is probably one of the greatest films I've ever seen, just at all. And I know that sounds super basic, and I apologize, but that's just how I feel. So those are my top 10 movies of 2025. Thank you for watching thus far. And I guess last year I talked a little bit about kind of projects I was working on with friends and stuff like that. And so I guess I could talk a little bit about that. Main thing we've been working on is The Marked Room, directed by Isaac Neely, over at the good old Agent Neely channel. You can check him out. Links will be in the description. And I did a short film with Ryan. We did a few at the beginning of the year, and then Ryan unfortunately moved away back in May. So we started up our podcast again over on Discord, and those are on his channel. Those aren't very consistent. We just kind of do them as we can get them. So if you'd like to check those out to hear us kind of talk about art and movies and being creative and stuff like that. But I'm excited to see what Ryan's gonna do, the projects he's gonna make, and he's working on some stuff. He sent me some stuff. It's very exciting. One of the many sad things about Ryan moving, not the only one, there's a lot, but is that we lost our cinematographer for The Marked Room. He was our guy, he was our camera guy, and really didn't, he left before we really had anything going yet. We started in January and had a really rough start, a slow start, just because of location, and Isaac was kind of finding his voice as a director and trying to figure out what he wanted. He knew what he wanted, and he was like, how do I put this into words? And so it was a very slow start, and so the movie kind of just pushed away, and we ran out of time. It got hot, and the movie's supposed to be cold, and can't wear all those layers in the summer, we'd die. And so gets around August, September, and Isaac's talking to me about starting up the movie again, and we just had a long talk about our realistic expectations now that we don't have a cinematographer, someone to operate the camera. And we had a good long talk about the direction we wanted the movie to go into and all that kind of stuff. And it was a long talk. I was out there till like 5 a.m. talking about it. And we kind of got a feel for it. And we're like, let's start this back up. So November, we started back up, and we have a rough start a little bit. And then I don't know what happened, but we just kind of got in a groove, and we've just been getting so much done. It's been really good progress. The movie's almost done as the time of I'm recording this on February 21st of 2026. We're almost done shooting, which is just crazy. And this is such a cool project because it's gone from a short film, and now we're looking into feature territory, and hopefully we'll have a trailer here pretty soon to show y'all. Also, there is a Marked Room channel. You can check that out. And the sun is fleeting pretty quick. But I just want to talk a little bit about the Marked Room, and everything's going really good with that, and I'm excited for y'all to see it. It's been a journey, and to say that we've made a feature film now is super exciting. But with the sun leaving, I think that's time for me to leave as well. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. Subscribe if you like my face. All right. Farewell, my friends.